Hi everyone. You're still on Mr. B's channel. Today, we're going to learn the past continuous tense. You're going to watch two experts talking about the tense. Just watch and learn as much as possible.
An example of past continuous is I was working. When we use past continuous, we are talking about something that continued during a period in the past. Now, let's look at how we form it. So we would use the subject plus the past tense of the verb to be as the helping verb, and then a verb plus ing. For example, we would say, I was working. He was working. She was working. It was working. Then it changes a little bit. See here? You were working. We were working. And they were working. Now let's look at when we can use the past continuous tense. So, we can use it to talk about an action that was continuing during a period of time. For example, Sarah was studying all day. What's the period of time here in this sentence? All day. And where's our past continuous? Here. Was studying. Okay? Next, we can also use this tense to talk about an action that was continuing during a particular moment in the past. For example, at 11 p.m., I was sleeping. What's the moment in the past? 11 p.m. Where's our past continuous? Here. Okay? So when would you say something like that? Well, let's suppose somebody says, oh, I tried to call you last night, but you didn't answer. And you say, what time? And they said, oh, around 11. And you say, oh, at 11 p.m., I was sleeping. Okay? Like that.
Another usage for the past continuous tense is to talk about two actions that were happening at the same time in the past. We use the past continuous tense for both actions with the word while. Let's take a look at some examples. The first sentence says, while I was playing soccer, she was watching me. You'll notice that both actions are in the past continuous tense. I was playing soccer and she was watching me. The word while at the beginning shows that these actions were happening at the same time. While you were reading, I was preparing dinner. Again, both actions are expressed in the past continuous tense. The word while shows that they were happening at the same time. Now, you'll notice that in my examples, the word while comes at the beginning. However, it's important to note that you can move the word while around in several ways. For example, instead of saying this, while I was playing soccer, she was watching me, I can move while to the middle of the sentence. I was playing soccer while she was watching me. I can put the while between the two actions. Or I can also change the sentence around and say, while she was watching me, I was playing soccer. So it doesn't matter which action comes first with the while if you put it in the beginning.
Now let's look at the structure of the past continuous tense. So, we will look at it in a positive sentence, a negative sentence, and a question. So in the positive sentence, the basic way we form this tense is we take the subject plus the verb to be in the past tense, which is going to be was or were, plus the verb plus ing. Let's look at how that works, okay? So, I, he, she, or it, we would say, was working. I was working yesterday. He was working. She was working. It was working. And here, we have to change the verb to be. So we say, you were working. We were working. They were working. Okay? So it's not only important to remember this verb plus ing, the working part, which is not too difficult, but this part is also very important to make sure you're using the correct form of that past tense of the verb to be with this tense. Okay? Because if you make a mistake here, then you'll make a mistake in the entire tense. So be careful of that. It is here was, and here it is were. Okay? So let's pay attention to that. Next, if it's a negative sentence, it's very easy. We're just adding not. Okay? For example, I was not working. He was not working. She was not working. It was not working. Or, you were not working. We were not working. They were not working. Okay? That's it. Next, to form a question, we have to change the order. So instead of saying I was, we say was I. Instead of he was he. That's it. So, for example, was I working yesterday? I don't remember. Was he working? Was she working when you arrived? Was it working the last time you used it? Were you working? Were we working? Were they working? Okay? So that's the structure of the question. Now remember that if you need to add a question word, you can do that. What do I mean by a question word? For example, you could say, where was he working? Okay? So if you need to add that question word like who, what, when, where, why, how often, how long, and so on, then you can do that. Just put it here before this, but keep this structure. Just put it before the was, okay? And then, of course, you will not capitalize this word was. So where was he working? How long was he working? And so on. That's it. And this is the basic structure of the past continuous tense. In English, when someone asks you a question, we don't usually just say yes or no, because it sounds a little bit impolite. We can be a little bit more polite than that, and I'm going to show you how. So, for example, in this tense, if someone said, was he playing video games? Then you could just say, yes, he was, if it's a positive answer, or no, he wasn't. And how do you know that pattern? Well, in this case, all we had to do was take the was from the question and use it in our answer. Okay? Now, as you can see, in the positive answer, you cannot use any contraction because there isn't one. But in the negative one, the negative answer, yes, do use the contraction, especially in informal conversation where we use these kind of questions and answers. Okay? So just take your answer from the question itself. Let's take another example. Were they studying for the test? So you could say again, take your answer from here. Yes, they were, or no, they weren't. Okay? Make sure you're saying weren't, wasn't. Okay? Make sure you're saying that ending, otherwise the meaning changes. All right? Now, the only one that's different, the only exception is for questions about you. So if someone says, were you managing a team? So then, of course, you cannot say were. Your answer will be, yes, I was, or no, I wasn't. So, were you paying attention to this lesson? I hope you said, yes, I was.
Thanks for watching. Please continue to the next activity.